Hey guys, this is Ms. Church. Today we're going to be looking at your Principles of Business Objective 1.02, recording information to maintain and present a report of business activity. These are your objectives: utilizing your note-taking skills, organizing your information, and selecting and using appropriate graphic aids to go with that information. So the first thing I'll say about organizing information is that if I don't do it, I have a terrible time keeping things together. So it makes it easier for you to find the things you need. It allows you to be better prepared, and it also makes your information easier to remember and also to understand. We're going to skip through a couple of slides here because we're not working in groups. This is the common approach to organizing information. You can see you have 15 different ways to do that. We're going to look at each one as we go through. Chronological order is when you place your information in order of dates or time frames in some way. It does help when you're looking at data that's historical, and so you will find this a lot in your history classes. They'll do timelines that'll show that information in historical order. Problem and solution. You take your information, you divide it up into two things. You have problems on one side, solutions on the other. If you look at your example here, you can see the problem is motorized transportation. They list three things that are problems with that, and then they give you the solution side, and they also list three solutions to the problems. Order of importance. I find that I do this a lot. I will organize things by what is the most important to get done first, and then it'll be, all the way through to what's got to be done to the least important of the information. It helps me to reach those things that I have to get done right now, and then put the other things off until I get, to that. Deductive order. I want you to look at the example because I think it'll help a little bit. I recommend Sally to be president of FBLA. She is self-motivated, a self-motivated honor student with an outgoing personality and perfect attendance. So when you do this, you know about the topic, and you know about that selection process that's going to take place. So then you're given a recommendation to support whatever that information is. So in this example, they're recommending Sally to be president, and then they're telling why. That's the information that they're working with in order to make that recommendation. Inductive order looks at how difficult things are, or places those facts before the conclusions, as it says. So you remember the example we had just a minute ago. Now it's giving you why first, and then telling what the suggestion is. So they put in there that Sally's self-motivated honor student with an outgoing personality and perfect attendance. So because of that, I suggest that she becomes the new FBLA president. So it changes the order from what we saw on the previous slide to tell him why first, and then what the suggestion is. And you do see on here, it does say that this is useful when rumors of previously drawn conclusions have caused confusion. So they're telling, the why first to eliminate that confusion. This is indexed order. You put them in some kind of sequence. Now, it does say the most common is alphabetical. Sometimes it's numerical. Sometimes it's based on, when you're looking at inventory things, it'll be like a first in, first out inventory. So it's got some kind of sequence that makes sense in what you're doing. Inverted pyramid. You can see, I want you to kind of look at that pyramid that they give you over to the side. They use this with journals, letters, memos. You start out with the who, what, where, when, why, and then you get into all the information and details that go along with that. Climatic order. It does say it's used for a sales pitch a lot of times. What it does is it draws people in immediately and then gives them the information after that. So they're wanting to increase the interest in it. To say, hey, this is this, and then once they got them, then they can start giving the details that go with it. So the climax is first. Spatial and geographical order of location. Organizing things by a city, by a state, by a county. Even if you look at a world map, organizing it by countries, it could be. So somehow you're organizing information about by where the information came from or what the information is pertaining to. Simple to complex. Looking at things, picking out the simplest first, and then proceeding to things that are more difficult. You find this a lot of times in classrooms. We will build on the information that we give you. So we take that information that is the most easy to understand first, and then build on that up to what would be the most difficult. Sequential process or instruction. Telling you how to do things, but putting it in the order that it has to be done. So if you've got a recipe, a recipe puts those things in the process order that you need in order to finish it up with this beautiful dish. You got to start out by turning the oven on and preheating it. And then you've got to do this, do this, do this until you get to the end and you're taking that dish out of the oven and you have exactly what it was you were trying to cook. Classification, adding things in categories. And you'll have different groups of things for whatever it is that you're doing, but categorizing that information. The example they give is category 1, 2, 3. They've got the good student, the struggling student, and the laid back student. So you can see how they've categorized those into those groups. Cause and effect looks at what is the cause of something that's happening and what effect does that something have on everything else. They showed the tree here. They've got the cause as being the trunk, and from the trunk it grows up into the tree and out into the branches, and all of those branches would be the effect that it has. The example they give is paper on renewable energy and non-renewable energy. There's lots of things that you could use cause and effect on. Somebody commits robberies all across the town, and that's the cause. What effect did it have on the town? Well, it had an effect on the business owners, right? So then they would list all the effects that go along with that cause that happened. Comparison and contrast, looking at something and how they are the same and how they are different. Comparing advantages and disadvantages of products such as Android and Apple. That's been it's been a point of conflict for a long time. People looking at different types of phones and trying to figure out, what's the same, what's the similarities that they have, and what are the differences between the products that would make one better than the other. Value and size, looking at logical order, how something, they give you an example of realtors listing their properties out. They've got the properties that are the least expensive up to the properties that are the most expensive. Now, I don't know if you do this sometimes, but sometimes when I'm shopping, I will do that. I will have it show me the products least expensive first. Some of the pages are set up where you can filter them that way, and then it puts it in the order from least expensive to the most expensive. And then typically, I'll find myself going somewhere in the middle. So it just helps to be able to see where those products line up as far as cost. Alright, so that's all of the notes. That's looking at all the various ways to be able to put your items in organization, to be able to organize things to where you can find it and learn better from it. Hope this helps you on these slides. Please let me know if you have any questions.